This video is going to walk you through some points from Dallas Willard's paper called Truth Can We Do Without It? So this paper was given originally at Baylor University back in the 1900s, some time ago, but I think the ideas in it are pretty timeless. So I want to highlight 7 things from this paper, 7 ideas from this paper. I'm not going to read the paper for you. You can read it on your own, but one of the first things that that Dallas mentions in his paper is that truth is in trouble. Truth is in trouble. So that's number 1. Truth is in trouble. Dallas gives some examples of this here in his paper, but I think that with a little bit of reflection, you'll see that he's right. You don't have to have lived very long to know that truth is in trouble, both in popular culture, both in politics, especially, and in social life generally, especially in religion, right? Because people don't care about the truth; people care about the right answers, right? About not getting canceled, about being a part of the in crowd or whatever. So Dallas talks about, why are you taking a class? To get credits, to graduate, to get a job, right? But really, isn't truth about not getting a job or a degree, but about dealing effectively with reality, right? Truth is in trouble, and I agree with him on this. So the question then is, well, if truth is in trouble, what exactly is truth? And one of the things that Willard points out, this is point number 2 here, is that truth is quite simple. Truth is quite simple. It's not as complex as many philosophers make it out to be. Truth is not the kind of thing that is particularly difficult as a concept to grasp. Even little kids, Willard will point this out, even little kids understand what truth is. Right? Have you ever noticed that you never have to teach a child how to lie? Right? It's not like you sit down to your kids someday, or your little cousin or nephew, or maybe your parents. I don't think your parents ever sat you down and said, okay, look, here's how you lie. Right? Reality is this way, and then you say that it's different than how it really is, and that's lying. And now let's practice, right? It's pretty easy to lie. You don't have to be taught how to do it. It just comes naturally. Truth is simple. It comes naturally, and it's not a particularly complex thing. So the question then is, what is truth? So now the next thing Willard wants to say is exactly what truth is. Now, Willard points out that many philosophers think that truth is enigmatic, but it really isn't. It's quite simple. So let me highlight this this for you, and so that you can see what Willard says about this pretty clearly. Here it is. Now this is it's kind of ironic because Willard says that truth is simple, but then the way that he describes it seems kind of complicated. So here it is. Okay. Here's the key passage of Willard's statement about what truth is. A representation or statement or belief is true if what it is about is as it is presented in the representation or belief or statement. Whew, that's a mouthful of a sentence. I'll read it again. A representation or statement or belief is true if what it is about is as it is presented in the representation or belief or statement. He says, I'm going to say that again. Okay, thankfully he says it again. Here's the second stab at it. An idea or statement or belief is true if what it is about is as it is presented. One of the key words is here. Now, he gives another example. I'm going to skip down a couple lines. He gives another clear case of it. Truth is always the matching up of an idea of reality. This is probably the clearest statement that he gives here. That truth is the matching up of the idea or an idea with reality. So he gives an example here. The broom is in the closet. So let's take that as our statement. I'm going to move over here and draw some notes. So take this as an ordinary statement. The broom is in the closet. Right? The broom is in the closet. Okay, so if we take this statement, the broom is in the closet, the broom is in the closet. This is our statement or our belief, right? Willard gives a couple different things, a statement or a belief or an idea. Now, I don't want to belabor the point of the differences between these. Right? A statement is something that is written or spoken. A belief is something that you have in your mind that you are prepared to act on. And an idea is just, well, it's just something in your mind. It's a mental state you're simply entertaining. It's not as robust as a belief in terms of your willingness to act as if it were true, but it's still a mental phenomenon that's in your mind. So suppose you have an idea or a belief or a statement. The broom is in the closet. Okay, so now the question is, what makes this true? Or what is it? What is it for? Let's call this statement S here. Or actually, let's call it statement P for a proposition. What is it for P to be true? What is it for P to be true? What does it mean to say that the broom is in the closet, that that's true? Well, what Willard says, straightforwardly, that this claim is true. This claim is true. It's true if it matches reality. If it matches reality, then the claim is true. And if it doesn't match reality, then it's false. So if in fact the broom is in the closet, here it is, right? If in fact this broom is in the closet, then this claim is true. Now if the broom is out in the car, or if it's not in the closet, it's somewhere else, then the claim is false. So as long as there's a match between a proposition, a statement, an idea, or belief, then the claim is true. Otherwise, it's false. So let me take you back to Willard's statement here. So a representation or statement or belief is true if what it is about, right? So this statement is about the broom being in the closet. So if that broom actually is in the closet, then the claim is true. A representation or statement or belief is true if what it is about is, that is, it exists as it's presented in the representation or belief or statement. Or he says another way, a belief is true if what it is about is as it's presented. Or the third way he puts it is, truth is the matching up of an idea with reality. So truth is really simple. If I tell you the broom is in the closet, you want to know, is that claim true? Well, it's true just in case what? The broom is in the closet. So again, what makes this claim true? What makes this claim true? If it matches reality, or if reality is as the statement says it is. Now again, that's really simple. Take another simple proposition. There is gas in the tank of my car. There is gas in the tank of my car, right? So take another statement. There is gasoline, in the gas tank of my car. Okay. So now we don't want to know whether we know this is true, or if someone can prove it's true, or if if it actually is true. We want to know, what is it for this to be true? What makes this true? Or what is it for this to be true? Right? What is it for this to be true? If it is true, what makes it true? And the response is, well, if there is gas in the tank of my car. So what makes this claim, there is gasoline in the tank of my car, true? What makes it true? Well, now you can't see in the gas tank of this car. This is a fine looking automobile. It was actually the first car I had. Yeah, it was like 27 years old, 25 years old when I got it. But it was a great little car, fun to drive. This claim, there's gasoline in the tank of my car, what makes it true? Well, if it matches reality. If it matches reality, then the claim is true. So if there actually is gas in the tank of the car, then the claim is true. If there's no gas in the tank of the car, then the claim is not true. It's simple, right? You want to know, is the claim my keys are on my desk? Is that true? Well, what makes it true? What is it for that claim to be true? Well, if it matches reality. If your keys are on your desk, then the claim the keys are on the desk is true. Right? It's really simple. Truth is simply and always the matching up of an idea with reality. So this is Willard's third and major and most important point in this essay. Truth is extremely clear and obvious, right? Again, that's back to point number 2, that truth is simple. But truth here is always the correspondence or the matching up of belief with reality. Okay? Make sure you've got that down. Let me give you another example. Suppose that you can't find your key, right? Suppose you can't find your ID card for campus, right, on at CBU, and you're hungry and you want to go eat something, but you can't find your ID card to get some meal swipes, and you're trying to remember where you put it, your ID card, where you saw it last. So you form a belief: my ID card is in my backpack. Maybe you dropped it in there on your way out because you were in a hurry, and then you're looking around your room or you're in your car and you can't find it. So you form the belief. My ID card, right, here's your belief. My ID card is in my backpack. Right? And suppose you text this. Suppose you text this to your friend or your roommate. You text this to your roommate, and your roommate says, they text you back after looking in your bag, and they say yes, it was in your backpack. It was in your backpack. Right? When was this claim true? What made it true? What is it for it to be true? Well, it's true if it matches reality. If it matches reality. The claim is true only if it matches reality. Doesn't matter how you feel about it, doesn't matter how strongly you believe it or how much you doubt it, this claim is still true, regardless of, even if no one proved it to you, right? Suppose you text your roommate that my ID is in my backpack, and your roommate doesn't get back to you till the end of the day. Like, so you have to borrow, someone has to swipe some money for you, you borrow some money, and the next day, like, because your roommate accidentally took your backpack and put it in his car or her car, and then drove home with it to Oregon or something, right? This claim, you're still wondering where your ID is, and you still have it in your mind, and maybe that text is still sitting out there that my ID is in my backpack. Now, that claim is still true if it matches reality. Now, the claim is false if your ID was actually under your bed, like it fell off, or under your desk or something, then the claim would be false. But truth is the matching up of a belief with reality. Now, you'd think that's pretty straightforward and simple, and it is, but you'd be surprised at how many people don't believe it. How many people don't believe it? Okay, let me zip through a couple other things here that Willard points out in his lecture, and you know what? Actually, let me pause, and I think I'll just leave it at this, and then we'll come back and do another lecture just for the sake of time on the remaining 4 things from Willard's paper. This video is going to walk you through the second part of Willard's paper called "Truth, Can We Do Without It?" Just let me scroll up to the top here again and remind you of what we covered in the last video. Willard here is talking about truth, and the first couple things he says that truth is in trouble. The second thing he says is that truth is simple, and the third thing he says is that truth is always the matching up of an idea with reality. That's this point here, point number 3. Truth is always the matching up or the correspondence of a belief with reality. This is a really important idea, and we covered it in the last video, but it's central, right? If you miss this point, you're totally missing Willard's point in this paper, and you just won't understand what truth is. In fact, just so you know, my own view is that Willard is right about this, that this is exactly what truth is. Truth is the matching up of an idea with reality, okay? And we talked a little bit about the broom in the closet, right? What makes the claim the broom in the closet true? If it is true, what makes it true? It's because it matches reality. How about the claim there's gas in the tank of my car? If that's true, what makes it true? Well, if there's gas in the tank of your car. Or my ID card is in my backpack. What makes that true? Well, reality makes it true. So as long as you're clear that truth is the matching up of the correspondence of belief or statements or ideas with reality, then you're in good shape. That's just what truth is. And again, I would submit to you, if you don't think that's true, then provide a counterexample. Provide an example of something being true but not matching how things actually are. If you can do that, then you'll show that this claim is false. That truth just isn't the matching up of an idea with reality. But what I would submit to you is that every truth claim you can come up with, every truth claim, it's always going to be true if it matches reality. Now, this is important to recognize, though, that truth is independent and different from belief. Truth is independent and different from belief. Here's what Willard says. This is point number 4 in the essay. The next thing I want to say is this. The matching up, the correspondence of truth with reality, is totally indifferent to what you may believe or I may believe. Okay? That's point number 4. Truth is independent from belief. So let me go back here to the gas in the tank of my car example, right? So suppose we take the claim, there's gas in the tank of my car. Okay? If that claim is true, what makes it true? Well, if it matches reality. That's what makes it true, if it matches reality. Now you might say, well, what if I don't believe that it's true? What if I don't believe there's gas in the tank of my car? Well, does your belief affect the amount of gas in the tank of your car? I mean, literally, if you're just sitting there, I'm not talking about getting out and pumping gas in your car. But if you believe that there is gas in the tank of your car, does that make it true? Well, I wish it would. I'd spend a lot less money on gas, especially on a long commute, right? No, your belief about the gas in the tank of your car has nothing to do with reality. Now, it can match reality or it can fail to match reality, but your belief doesn't make it true that there's gas in the tank of your car. Nor does your belief that there is no gas in the tank of your car make it true that there is no gas in the tank of your car. In other words, reality is independent from your belief. And, in fact, from the truth of your belief in one way, right? If you believe that there is gas in the tank of your car, and if that belief is true, why is it true? Well, because it matches reality. But suppose you believe that there's gas in the tank of your car. Does that make it true? No. It might not match reality. If it doesn't match reality, then the belief is false, right? So if you believe there's gas in the tank of your car, if it matches reality, then the belief is true. If it doesn't match reality, then the belief is not true. But you can't make it true that there's gas in the tank of your car just by believing it. I mean, you could try that. I mean, good luck with that experiment. Well, I invite you, just go out and sit in your car and believe that your tank is full, right? Just believing won't get you to the gas station if, in fact, there's no gas in the tank of your car. Unless, of course, you're driving an electric car, then you don't need gas at all. I think you could just apply the same thing to the electric charge and the battery. Right? Believing that your car is charged doesn't make it true that your car is charged. Right? Belief is separate from reality and truth. Truth is independent from belief. This is point number 5. You can't make a belief true. You can't make a belief true by believing it. Right? So truth is distinct from belief. Beliefs are one thing, but truth is another. Not all of your beliefs are true just because you believe them. Some of them are. The ones that match reality are true. The ones that don't match reality, they're not true. And it doesn't matter how hard you believe them. I mean, Willard, gives this example of, thinking about gas in the tank of your car, right? We could all get on a bus, and maybe half the bus thinks there's gas in the tank of the bus, and the other half doesn't. And we could sing songs about gas in the tank of the car. We could start a protest movement, hashtag gas in the tank movement, right? But it doesn't matter what your beliefs are with respect to the truth. If you have a belief and the belief matches reality, then your belief is true. If your belief doesn't match reality, then your belief is false. And it doesn't matter how firmly or how strongly you believe it. You can't make it true that there's gas in the tank of your car just by believing it. You can't make it true that there's money in your bank account just by believing it. I mean, Try it. Just try that. Just sit down or stand up and believe as hard as you can that there's money in your account. Now go look. You go down to the bank and ask them, or look online, or whatever. It won't do it. It doesn't work that way. Reality and truth are independent from what you believe. Now, Willard points out here that this is point number 6. This will come up. This doesn't really come up in Willard's paper, but it'll come up in the Cowan and Spiegel text. But it's a corollary of point number 4 and 5. Truth is independent from belief, and since that's the case, you can't make something true just by believing it. But truth is different from proof. Truth is different from proof. Okay? Let's go back to the gas in the tank of your car. Suppose you say, well, nobody has ever proved to me that there's gas in the tank of my car. Well, so what? Right? The claim there's gas in the tank of your car can still be true if, in fact, it matches reality. If it matches reality, then the claim is true. If it doesn't match reality, then it's not true. You might say, well, no one's ever proven it to me. So what? The claim could still be true, even if no one's proven it. Suppose your gas gauge is busted. And suppose, you're not sure how much gas is in there, but you form the belief. Maybe it's based on your driving habits or whatever. But you just form the belief there's gas in the tank of the car. Now, what makes that true? If it matches reality. But you might say, well, I don't know if it's true. And we should add this. Belief is different than proof, and belief is different than knowing. It's also different than knowing that something is true. Something can be true even if you don't know it's true, right? Something can be true even if you don't know it's true. So, for example, suppose you get a text from someone and they say there's gas in the tank of your car. Maybe that person borrowed your car and your gas gauge is busted. And the person texts you and says there's gas in the tank of your car. Now, do you know that there's gas in the tank of your car just because you got that text? I mean, did you see this person fill it up? Were you there at the gas station and watch how many gallons they put in there? No, you have no evidence. You have no proof. You have nothing to go on. You don't know if there's gas in the tank of your car, yet you form the belief there's gas in the tank of my car based on the text you got. So you form the belief, but you don't have real proof or any really good evidence, and therefore you don't know if there's gas in the tank of your car. Could this claim, there's gas in the tank of my car, could that claim still be true? Could it still be true? And the answer is yes, it could be true. Why? Well, if it's true, it's because there's gas in the tank of your car, because it matches reality. In other words, something can be true even if you don't know it's true. Let me take a more controversial proposition. Consider the claim that Jesus rose from the dead. That's a pretty strong claim, right? Suppose I take this claim. Jesus rose from the dead. Right? This is the claim. This claim is no different, really, than the claim about gas in the tank of your car or the broom being in the closet. It's just that now it's a slightly different kind of claim. So take the claim Jesus rose from the dead. This is a historical claim. It's no different than the claim there's gas in the tank of your car, except this has happened a long time ago. So the question is, what makes this true? What is it for this to be true? If this is true, what makes this claim true? What makes this claim true? Well, if it matches reality, if this corresponds to reality, then the claim is true. Then the claim is true. Now, you might say, well, I don't believe it's true, or no one's ever proven it to me to be true. If it is true, it doesn't matter if no one's proven it to you, and it doesn't matter if you believe it or not. If it's true, it's because it matches reality. So if this event happened, if this event is real, if this event is real, then this claim is true. If the event never happened, then guess what? The claim isn't true. It's only true if it matches reality. But you might say, well, I don't know if it matched reality. I don't know if it really happened. It's irrelevant to the truth of the claim. The claim can be true even if you don't know it and even if you don't believe it. Truth is independent from belief and independent from proof. Now you might say, well, this is really difficult. No, it's not. It's not really difficult. It's really simple. Look, going back to the broom is in the closet, right? This claim. This claim is true even if no one ever proved it to you. If that broom is in the closet, the claim, the broom is in the closet, is true because it matches reality. And that's it. It's quite simple. So belief and truth are totally different things. Truth is independent from belief. You can't make something true by believing something. And truth is different than proof and knowing. Truth is different than proof and knowing. So something can be true even if no one's ever proven it to you. And even if you don't know it's true, it could still be true. And then lastly, truth is important for life, especially in politics. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail here. I'll just mention this. But truth is crucial for living life well. Just try it, right? Try and go around having a lot of false beliefs, or just trying to have beliefs that don't match reality, and see how things go for you. They're not going to go well. If you have false beliefs about when you should show up for work, you're probably not going to be in the job very long. If you have false beliefs about beauty and truth and goodness, life is going to be very different than if your beliefs are true. So what this discussion is not to tell you which claims are true, but what it is for a claim to be true. And again, just to reiterate, truth is quite simple. It's the matching up of an idea with reality. Truth is the matching up of an idea with reality. All right, thanks for your time.
Stay psyched, Grom. You.